Hello, this is saxophonist Antonio Parker, and this is A Conversation in Jazz, where we are promoting jazz through telling the stories. Today, we are interviewing one of the living institutions in the Washington, D.C. area. He is a vocalist, presenter, organizer, and music coordinator of Jazz Night at Westminster Church in Southwest Washington, D.C. He was also a defensive back of the former Washington Redskins football team, the one and only Mr. Dick Smith. We ask you to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so we can let you know when we are posting another video or going live. Also, hit the like button. We also ask you to donate to our Cash App in order to support the channel and help us to produce future videos. Our Cash App is $Jazzology101. That's $Jazzology101. Enjoy the video. Hi, this is saxophonist Antonio Parker, and this is A Conversation in Jazz. Today we have a very distinguished gentleman who wears many hats. Not only is he a wonderful jazz vocalist, a supporter of jazz, an organizer, a presenter, and a champion of jazz, but he is also the music coordinator of Jazz Night at Westminster Church in Southwest D.C. And might I add, he was a defensive back for the former Washington Redskins football team. Please welcome one of our living institutions, Mr. Dick Smith. Dick, how you doing, buddy?
Man, that was a good introduction. You're doing a good job. Continue. I'm swelling up.
Yes, it's an honor to to have you on this conversation program. What we do here is we learn the stories because we think the stories are just as important as the music. Because a lot of people who are part of this community, jazz community, man, they take a lot of these stories to the grave, and we and us younger people, we want to hear those stories and get inspired. We want to learn. We want to get guidance and that sort of thing. So that's why I'm honored to have you here today.
Well, I'm honored to be here, and I want to remind you that this is a conversation, not an interrogation.
There you go. A conversation in jazz. There we go.
Not an interrogation.
Not an interrogation.
Of jazz.
Exactly.
You know, because that's what sometimes it end up being.
Yes.
So I'm going to keep you on target.
Keep me on target.
So we're going in the right direction.
There you go.
So
we're ready for it.
Yeah, it's wonderful, the conversation.
So let me ask you. So my first question I want to ask you. Who is Dick Smith?
Ooh. Man, who is Dick? I don't know. No. Actually, I came from Hamilton, Ohio.
Okay.
A long time ago. And, being from Hamilton, that's where my whole life started and about my music started.
Okay.
I was a little kid. They used to call me the one-man quartet.
The one-man quartet?
One-man quartet, because my grandmother lived next door to the church, the Farrell Baptist Church, and I used to go by there him all the time. He sang, they had singers in there, and at that time they had tambourines, cymbals, and all that stuff that they don't have in some of those churches. And so I was going by there, so Mr. Troutman, the woman, I go by and sing. Because when I hear it all sound like one thing, Jesus met the woman at the well. I'm singing all the parts. Here I went to the meeting well. I'm singing all the parts, you know. Woo, Jesus. You know, and all that kind of stuff. And so I started off with that, just doing the music that way. And then, and it was a good town because the people were nice and everybody was friendly. Mm-hmm. And so it was a good time for me.
So is Dick Smith your birth name?
No.
What's your birth name?
Richard.
Richard?
Henry
Smith. Richard Henry Smith.
Richard Henry Smith.
So how'd you get the name Dick?
Well, what happened was when I started playing football,
Okay.
and I don't think I had a nickname when I was in school. I don't even tell you what that is. that ain't your business.
Okay, that's interrogation.
Yeah, that's interrogation.
Yeah.
But they started calling me Dick Smith when I started going to school, and when I went to college.
Okay.
They never called me Dick Smith. Did they call me Dick Smith? No, they didn't call me Dick Smith all through my high school. You just made me remember that. Man, I forgot that.
But we didn't know that. That's something. Little things like that, man.
Well, I forgot myself. They just call, well, because it's short for Richard.
Okay. Okay.
And so they call you Dick Smith. And, and I guess when you play football, I said Richard Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have the ring.
Yeah.
They it's got to have a ring because it's football.
Yeah, no doubt.
So they did that. So that's when that happened.
Stuck.
Yeah, it stuck.
Yeah. Now, you told us, said you're from Hamilton, Ohio.
Hamilton,
right?
yeah.
What was it like coming up in Hamilton, Ohio, when you were coming up?
When I was coming up, man, I was very fortunate. I'm a fortunate guy because I came up when people lived in the neighborhood. I knew everybody in the neighborhood.
Wow.
Wasn't nobody on the street that I didn't know. And I could stop at any house, be treated with respect. Mm-hmm. I could walk for miles and not see people, not see anybody. Mm-hmm. We never went to the store to buy fruit because everybody had trees. Wow. in the yard.
Ain't that deep? They used to have fruit trees.
Fruit trees.
What happened
Everybody
to fruit
had. We had a grapevine. People next door had a pear tree. People down the street had cherry trees. Somebody had a peach tree.
Wow.
They had several apple trees. Mm-hmm. And then if you go back in the woods, you got all different kind of berries up and down. So we always had that available to us. The only thing we had to do was mine. Like one buddy would tell you, look, don't pick nothing off that tree. They don't want you on the tree.
Yeah.
Take the stuff on the ground.
That's what they used to tell the
kids.
kids.
Take the stuff on the ground so you could go in there and pick up stuff off the ground.
Okay.
And you said, it's got a worm in it. He said, cut that worm out. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with that peach. And, you cut it out. Man, it was a good experience.
Wow. What happened to I always wonder, what happened to those type of trees? Are they still?
Well, what happened was we got too sophisticated as a society. And we don't understand that the ground feeds and take care of us.
Come on now. That's
so
right.
what we started doing, covered it up with cement.
Wow.
And so there's no ground. We do not understand the value of the earth. We took it for granted. And now we got a whole ignorant population that don't know.
Yeah.
It's not their fault.
Yeah, it's not their fault. But
It's
that's
not
why
their fault. They've never been taught.
Yeah.
So how can you know anything if nobody showed you the way to go?
Exactly. So when you were coming up, did the kids and you came up, I'm assuming, in the black community?
Well, see, that you made an assumption.
Okay.
I lived in a black neighborhood.
Okay.
But I'm from Hamilton, and Hamilton is mostly white.
Wow. Okay. I
Not
stand
black.
correct. I stand correct.
Well, I got to correct you. It's all right to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And I came up around a lot of poor white folks because the rich white people live across the river.
Okay.
And we didn't mess around over there across the river. And then we didn't mess around in the real poor white neighborhoods because we know we wasn't supposed to be over there.
Uh-huh.
And we didn't go there. Everybody kept in their little thing, and we didn't think nothing about it. It wasn't a thing that we just knew better than going on Gobbler's Knob.
Yeah.
You stay off of Gobbler's Knob.
Gotcha.
And that's how we dealt with. And we went to school together. We went to, through grade school was predominantly black because it was from the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And then when we went to junior high school, that was a mix, white and black, and certainly with high school.
Okay. So did you you have any white friends coming up?
Oh, yeah, man. We played little pro football. We had all kind of white friends.
Wow.
Man, because the kids don't get into what old people are into.
Yeah. Y'all had a lot of fun?
Oh, man, beautiful fun, man. We would have great relationships. It was wonderful.
Wow. So, do you have any siblings?
I have my brother died.
Okay.
I had my sister, but she passed. Mm-hmm. And I don't have nobody now. I'm on my own.
You on your own?
Yeah.
You got the whole you got the whole jazz community.
Oh, let me change that.
Yeah.
I take that back. somebody watching this thing. Hey, oh, you know, I know you're my sister.
Yeah.
Oh, my brother, yeah, you're my brother. Woo, I messed that up, didn't I?
No, it was all good.
You got to have relationships.
You got to, no doubt.
Oh, my goodness.
So did you come up in the church?
Man, I went to church every day.
You went to church every day?
Every day. In fact, my grandmother had a key to the church.
Wow.
And she didn't need it because they never locked the door. The church was always open. With nobody going to church and steal nothing during the time that I was up, but the church was always open. But there was prayer meeting, there's Wednesday night. I heard my grandmother was really a religious woman. She prayed all the time.
What was your grandmother's name?
Lillian Smith.
Lillian Smith. We got to honor our ancestors.
Man, Lillian Smith was the prayingest woman that ever. She prayed so much. Even the drunks, when they be laying on the street, when they look up and see my grandma, say, "Oh, here come Miss Smith." Shh, man, be quiet.
Yeah.
You know, and they wouldn't use any kind of negative stuff because they respected her. They knew what she was about. She walked that way. Wow. And so I went to church every single day, man. I was getting I was in choirs and groups, and I could sight read music. I don't know why. I said, this note go up, that one go down. This
Okay, I got you. That's a great way of learning how to read music, huh?
That's where I learned.
Yeah, wow.
Outside, I learned.
Yeah.
And you know, and I just had it. I could make out a song, and because we sang from the hymnals.
Gotcha.
The Gospel Pearl and all these other song books, and I sung every song in there.
Wow.
As a kid, we listened to radio. During that time, we was listening to Lawrence Welk, as well as Ella Fitzgerald, which who didn't come on that much because a black person come on once a week. We be all sitting there looking at a little bitty TV just to see him for 30 seconds.
Wow, that's good.
You know, so.
That's something. So how did the church inform your value system? And grandma?
Well, my value system was formulated by, I would have to say about my grandma and my environment. I think, and then I had some stuff embedded in me. You're supposed to treat people right. You got to be respectful. You didn't do the wrong thing. You know, you tried to do what was correct all the time.
Now, were you a big guy? Were you one of the big guys?
Yeah, I wasn't as small. I guess I was big. I don't really know.
But so you know how you have a neighborhood bully?
Yeah.
You weren't the neighborhood bully, were you?
Oh, no, man. I wasn't. I was Chicken Man. I didn't realize how strong I was.
So they didn't pick on you, though, did they?
No, they would. I wasn't small.
Yeah.
And I could get insane if I needed to be.
Yeah.
They would say, well, man, they just left me alone and I was funny. I had a lot of friends on all sides of stuff. I never tried to get in anybody's business. I was respectful, and they know that, and I knew when to leave.
Gotcha.
When they did stuff that I didn't agree with what I was doing, I tell y'all.
Oh, wow. So you mentioned that, so you started singing coming up in church.
I sang in church, man. I sang in choirs. I tell you, I was a one-man quartet. My grandmother went to everybody's funeral. I went to funerals all the time.
Wow.
In fact, man, I remember I was sleeping in the middle room. We had a dead body in the front room because they had a showing of somebody's body. It wasn't even nobody that we knew because my grandma was, that kind of person.
Wow.
It was wild. It was a whole different experience. I was scared. I was just, I lay there sleeping.
So you didn't study music formally?
No, I didn't. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Did you have private voice lessons and all that?
No, I didn't have no. Well, I can't say I didn't because when I was in school, I sang in the choir too.
Okay.
So the music teacher.
You was getting okay.
I was getting some stuff that I didn't realize I was getting. Because I can't say I learned all this on my own, but I never got private lessons. I never did this, and I've always been independent in terms of my music. I didn't want to sound like Marvin Gaye. I didn't want to be like Al Green.
Yeah.
If I got this song, I'm gonna do it the Dick Smith way.
That's right. There you go.
And it may be wrong. but
We're glad you did it the Dick Smith way, bro.
And that's what I learned. So
Yeah.
I never have seen music as being competitive.
Gotcha.
I've always seen these people as artists. Like I don't compare Ella Fitzgerald with Dinah Washington, Sarah Vaughan, with Gloria Lynn. They're all entities.
Yes.
And I do that with everybody I know. So when all these people sound good, my wife gets mad at me sometimes because she said, "Why you listen to that person there?" I said, "Well, they sound good to me." She said, "You know that don't sound good." I say, "To you."
Yeah.
To you. I said, "Sound great to me." She doing what she do.
Wow. That's so now that explains some things. Because we have this idea that you got to go to school and learn. I had done something in Africa. Me and Vince Evans. We had done a tour in Africa. And we would go to some clubs, man. Like we were in Togo. And this cat, a young African cat, man, he was singing, man, he sound like who's the cat that sing Dock of the Bay?
Otis Redding.
Cat sound like Otis Redding.
Yeah.
And then he was singing, he said, "Yesterday." I mean, like with all this soul, man.
Yeah.
Couldn't speak a word of English once he got and when I hear your voice, and you remind me of that. And it's some stuff you can't teach.
Yeah.
You did? And that's why when you say that you followed something that it was the spirit in you. That helped.
But see, and then too, I was fortunate. You are sum total of your exposures and of your experiences.
Gotcha.
And that's what makes you see. I'm listening to all these different people, the different ways of doing stuff, approaches and stuff. So I'm really being exposed to some stuff. A lot of people not exposed to anything. They try to come down and to do it like it's a raw exercise.
Gotcha.
And me, and then you try to do what you feel inside. And so, and everybody, and you also know this. This is what I learned. Everybody ain't gonna like you.
Yeah.
It takes a long time for you. You think you can get so that Antonio won't like me. You working hard. You work hard. Antonio say, "I still don't like you."
Oh boy.
I've been working on this thing for 20 years. And then I learned something else. Because it take you a long time to learn who you are. Because I was sitting there singing, so I know sometimes people used to get up and leave while I'm singing. And I would say to myself, that many people got to go to the bathroom at the same time?
There you go. Well, man, and which brings up another point. Having self-validation.
Yeah.
A lot of times people are looking to be validated by others.
Yeah.
And sometimes people may not understand you while you're building and developing your thing, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But if you believe it, like take a cat like Monk on that Coleman.
All of them.
Yeah. People didn't really understand them. Some people didn't understand, and then next thing you know, they like institutions.
Right. Well, everybody who becomes something become an institution because they stick to their bailiwick.
Exactly.
See, a lot of people don't do that. They're so busy trying to do somebody else's stuff that you ain't gonna do it better than Joe Williams. You can try. Joe Williams do Joe Williams better than you.
Exactly.
Luther Vandross's gonna do Luther better than you. You can try to do Luther, but you're wasting your time.
Yes.
Do you and go on about your business.
So did you ever play any other instruments?
No. Well, my mother, we had a piano in our house.
Okay.
But what happened was, my sister was chasing me one day, and I was running. And I ran into the edge of the piano. That's why I got that little cut across my thing. And,
Oh,
and
wow.
it opened her head up.
I got the same cut on my head.
Yeah, but it's right across my nose.
Mine's is too.
Yeah. And when I ran to that piano, my mother took an axe and broke it up. Because she was so upset.
Wow.
Thinking it was going to kill me.
Yeah.
And she broke that up. So they gave us a little flute-looking things. We did that in school.
Recorder?
Yeah, recorder.
Yeah.
We tried to record it, but I mean, I never played an instrument. I mean, I've always admired people who played instruments, and I didn't feel like I need to do all the things that's being done.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I never looked at it that way.
Did you get a lot of love coming up?
Well,
Did you feel love? Like, you tell me, about
man,
grandma,
I felt love,
your
man,
mother
because
done-
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I feel love. I had so many friends. I'm almost ashamed. I have friends. They were so nice. People have been so nice to me along this path that I've lived. That I mean, I have no grievances, nothing to be, upset about, and just made a lot of good relationships. I've been lucky. I've been fortunate.
Blessed. You blessed the highly
I've been
favored.
blessed. I've been blessed. Highly flavored. Yeah. That's how I got into the jazz thing, man.
And we're gonna talk about how you
started
got-
working with all these different people.
Yeah.
And the reason why, because I had relationships.
Yes.
I'll tell you about this story. This is a funny story, but when I went I was with the Cowboys, and when we went down there, what they make all the players do, they make them sing. All the rookies.
Yeah. They make y'all.
They make them rookies sing so they can laugh.
Yeah.
So hell, I got up. Shit, I was thinking about Andy Williams, Moon River. I got up there and sung Moon River. Man, I busted out. Singing from what I call my heart. And then, man, the cats was looking. And then Don Meredith jumped up, and Ralph Neely and Bob Lilly.
Wow.
Man, that was all these stuff guys. Oh man, nothing but all these stars clapping and
Wow.
Don Perkins,
Yeah.
Bob Hayes.
Wow.
Man, hey man.
Why?
That's why the man didn't cut me.
That's
He said we're gonna save him for another week. He was talking that you said, man, he sang, man, we gotta have him all the way through through the thing.
Yeah. Wow.
And they kept me all the way through, man. It was, and I know this. There was a lot of great players out there, man. A lot of them were way better than me, as a player. But it's all about opportunity and how people feel about you. It's a lot of issues when you do anything.
Yes, sir.
And it's relationships. So I've been fortunate. I can't even complain about nothing.
And you've been blessed. And highly favored.
Man, you gonna make me start crying.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What kind of music did you listen to coming up?
I listen to everything.
Everything.
Everything. Because we lived right on the border of Kentucky. I lived in Ohio, but I lived in southern Ohio, down by Cincinnati.
Okay.
So it's right across the river from Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
I listened to Cousin Minnie Pearl, and all that kind of stuff. The really country western stuff. We had one radio station called Randy's that only came on for so long, and you could hear it. Now down King Record was Jane Brown. That's in Cincinnati.
Wow.
You had Jane Brown. You had Wilson Pickett.
Woo.
Hank Ballard and the Midnighters. It was all kind of record stuff right there, 25 miles from my house.
Wow.
Isley Brothers,
Whoa.
okay? Now, and all of that kind of stuff. Nancy Wilson lived in Chillicothe, which is up the road. So we were around Ohio's loaded with talented people, that do music. Wow. So I listened to everything. I listened to Lawrence Welk. And I didn't listen to it in competition. I listened to it for what it offered.
Yes.
And to me, it was great music for what they were doing. And I kept it in its capacity. I didn't treat the music as comparison. It's not compared. When I'm listening to that, I'm not listening to Motown. So I don't. It's no comparative analysis to be done.
Gotcha.
That's not what this is. This is classical.
There you go.
And they exposed us as kids. They sent us to Cincinnati Symphony. We went there. Only went one time.
Okay.
But it was a something you never forget. You see the oboe, the bassoon, and all this kind of stuff. And it made a difference in your life as far as making you more well-rounded.
Yes.
And well-versed with the music.
Wow. So when you did you hear a lot of jazz coming up, like straight ahead jazz?
Well, you know, I'm older than you,
Yes, sir.
so they had the Mills Brothers and stuff coming with, and some of the stuff that we heard. We heard Duke Ellington.
Okay.
Was Duke Ellington playing then? Yeah, I think Duke Ellington, Count Basie.
And were you into it at that time? Were you into jazz?
I was into everything.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't into jazz.
Yeah.
The only thing I think I really liked about jazz was the improvisation of the music. You know, you got more room for creativity.
Gotcha.
I like that component of it. But we listened to all of it. I listened to everything.
You just love music.
I loved it.
Wow.
Still do.
Was in terms of jazz, did Hamilton, Ohio have jazz clubs and that sort of thing? Like,
Well, we had, let me see, when did we have anybody playing jazz? Oh, wow. Not to my recognition that I can think of right off. Well, Cincinnati had a lot of people shooting through there. And as kids, we didn't go to a lot of places.
okay,
You know, everything is done in phases.
gotcha.
You know, and that was a phase of my life where I was young. I was a kid. And, you know, you got your kid music that you listen to and this and all that.
Yeah.
You know, you just going through evolution. And around my house, well, my grandmother had a wind-up Victrola.
Okay.
You know, the kind you wind up.
Yeah.
She had 78 records in there.
Wow. 78.
Yeah.
Wow. That's something.
78s. You know what 78s are?
The
45,
Yeah.
the 45.
Yeah. The little, yeah.
Then
yeah,
78 is the big one.
Yeah. So where'd you attend schools? Like, what were the schools that you elementary, middle school, and high school?
Well, when I was in elementary, let me see, I went to Monroe. Then they built a new school that was called Harrison. Then I went to Roosevelt. Then I went to Garfield. Garfield was our high school, yeah.
So is that where you started playing sports?
Yeah, I was fortunate because by the time I got to Garfield School, first of all, in Hamilton is a little bit prejudiced all that time. And then when they had Hamilton High School before my time, they only have a handful of guys that played. If you played guard, then every black person that came on the team played guard. So they wouldn't be able to compete with whatever system they had. But by the time we got in, they're split into two schools.
Okay.
And then we had a lot of guys playing because we had good coaches when we were in the little league. We used to beat up all the little kids in the neighbor, you know, in around the little football league.
Yeah.
And so that's basically what happened with that.
So when you were coming up, did you have goals or aims to be a musician or to play sports?
I didn't have none. I was just enjoying whatever came. I wasn't thinking about being anything.
Really?
No.
You just walk your path.
I just was enjoying the ride.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. And so you're in high school. I'm sure you're playing on the football team, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you get to go to? Did you go to college?
Yeah. I played basketball too. And
You can play ball?
I was pretty good.
Oh, okay.
I was dunking.
Really? Wow.
I averaged about 17 points a game. I was a good shooter.
Wow.
Yeah, I played and the year that my senior year, Hamilton won the state basketball championship, but wasn't our school. With the split school, we played against our friends, you know, guys that I played with all the time. They beat us, and they went on to the championship and won.
Wow. So what were you more? You have affinity more for football or basketball?
Man, I was just enjoying. I never even thought about it.
You just enjoy. Oh, that's funny.
I never thought about it. It wasn't you. I wasn't being driven or pushed into anything. Okay. I just was enjoying what life had to offer.
So did you get a sports scholarship when you went to college?
I was fortunate. I'm telling you now, I was fortunate. I had several offers for college. I ended up going to Northwestern University, which is probably one of the best universities in the country. I went to know because Air Parsegian was up there, and that's where I went to school. I ended up leaving and went to Northwestern on a full scholarship.
Wow.
So I didn't have to pay a dime.
And were you playing football?
I was playing football.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was your major?
My major was mathematics,
Okay.
educational math. Yeah.
Wow. So at some point, did you finish college? Did you graduate and all that?
I went through the process.
You went through the process. So at some point you graduated, right? Well, not graduate, but at some point you get drafted
Yeah.
to for the NFL.
Right.
How did that happen?
Well, what happened was when I was in college playing with Northwestern, I don't know if I was a disciplined player. I was good or not. I could throw the ball 90 yards.
Wow.
You know, coach had me do that. I was playing receiver. I played receiver, and I had a little speed. So I was the 9th draft choice for Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
And during that time, they had 2 leagues. It was Kansas City. They had the AFL and the NFL.
Okay.
So my coach, who was Alex Agassiz, said, well, look, you need to go. Rather than go there, you go to Dallas, because he knew some people at Dallas. Because they wasn't paying us that much money, or me that much money at that time.
Gotcha.
Even though I was now.
You went to the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah.
You played for the Dallas Cowboys too?
That's what I played for. I didn't go to Kansas City. I went to Dallas.
Oh, wow. So you started off with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
And how ironic, we know you for being...
Well, that's why I told you, sometimes we talk too much.
Yeah.
Now we over talking.
Yeah.
That ain't even got no relevance, but I was playing with the Cowboys. Yeah, I went to the Cowboys first.
Okay.
And then I ended up with the Redskins.
Wow. That's something.
Yeah, it was.
Now, what was it like knowing you were going to be drafted for the NFL or the football
Man,
team?
I'm trying to tell you, I didn't even think about it. It never, it just, I was just fortunate. Sometimes you have things happen to you in your life, and it happens in your favor. So, I'm you got to consider that I'm a little religious too at the same time. So I was just happy that something was happening in my favor. I just said, well, God is being good to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't look at it in any
Were your
other way.
family and friends happy for you?
I don't know.
Oh, man, that's funny. You said you...
I didn't even ask.
So what's just how was that experience playing professional football?
Well, for me, like I told you, for most people, they want to do that. It wasn't my desire to do it. I was just fortunate enough to do it. And so when I went to Dallas, man, I had so many friendships. The relationship was good. Then I ended up with the Redskins, and man, I still got friendships that I still have.
Wow.
Since we've been there, the relationships were just great. A lot of great moments for me. I had a couple good games, that I did all right, and that's all it was for me.
Wow. And so, what made you decide to leave football?
You don't always decide.
Okay. I got you.
Football is not a game that you make a decision.
Got you, yeah. So were you still singing? Like, were you singing around?
What happened to me, when I was in college at Northwestern, Northwestern had a show called a WAMU show. It's a production that they do every year at the end of the year at Northwestern. Carol Channing had been in it, Ann Margaret, Charlton Heston. All these people have been in this show before me. I was one of the few black people that were even tried out during that time. That's before they had got a lot of blacks going to the school. So I auditioned for the WAMU show in my senior year. Okay, what happened during that audition? I made it. They gave me a couple skits. They gave me a song to sing. I did all that. So then I was with John McNeil's Breakfast Club.
Wow.
Which is a big band. I didn't know nothing about big band. That big band,
Yeah.
I just knew I was singing my part and I could stay in tune.
Yeah.
They said, well, could you read it? I didn't have to read no music because most of the songs I knew. I had a good memory, and when the song go, boom, I knew what it was. I could do it after the first take. I knew what to do. And so I was fortunate with all that. And then I got drafted. So I went to the football, played the football. And then I just kept on while I was, let me see. I didn't mention when I was in school, I was with Church of God in Christ.
Okay.
So I was in a group over there.
Okay.
And I went all over. We went to Detroit. We went all sorts of places.
Wow.
So I've been fortunate, man. That's all I can tell you.
Wow, that's beautiful. I want to also ask, did you ever sing the national anthem for the
I sang it for the Nationals.
For the Nationals?
Yeah.
Wow. What was that like?
I don't know what you call it. I mean, in the national at the time, it wasn't an experience for me. It was just something that I did. I didn't equate it like that.
You just
Go sing the national anthem and leave. How many people done sung the national anthem? You make sure you don't start too high.
Do you ever get nervous?
Most of the time. You know, when I work on my shows that I might be doing, I always be a little nervous with it, and a little apprehensive about how it's gonna go. But it ain't because of the audience; it's most because of me. Am I doing what I'm trying to do a certain thing? Am I doing what I want to do? It's the songs right, and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
So it's a natural
Yeah.
little thing. You don't you do it every time you play?
Every night, I get nervous because, like, I remember one time when I was in high school, and I was in the All City Jazz Band, and we had this festival called the Downbeat Competitions in Chicago. I was in the band with Christian McBride and Jody DeFrancesco. Anyway, so and this is where I met Roy Hargrove. It was like young bands from around the nation that in its competition. So, so I get up to take a solo, and my horn the keys start in the middle of my solo. The keys pop off. The keys pop off the horn, and in the middle of the solo, and I'm like, and so I had to borrow somebody's horn, but I always had this thing in the back of my mind, man. I hope the keys don't. So I get nervous because that thing, Murphy's Law, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. You can do everything right. I done practice, and then you get up there, and something just. All right, so you in D.C. What made you decide to stay in D.C. when you got to D.C.? You got to D.C. because of the Redskins?
Yeah, Redskins. I came to Redskins, stayed with D.C. because of the Redskins, and I got married.
Okay.
In D.C.
You met your wife in D.C.?
Yeah, she's a D.C. What do you call them?
Resident or native?
Right.
Native.
She's
okay.
a native D.C. person. So, and then
let's shout out your wife. Your wife, her name is
Jacqueline Smith.
Jacqueline Smith. We got to get that.
And I got to say that.
Yeah.
And I actually went to Canada, and I played in Canada too.
Wow.
See, man, I done so many things. I played in Canada. So, I played up at the Montreal Alouettes.
Yeah.
I also played in Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And I sung, I coached at UDC.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, you lived about 3 lifetimes.
That's what I'm saying. I done so many things that I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, thank you, Lord.
Yeah, that's all I can say.
Thank you, Lord.
I've been exposed to a lot of things, a lot of wonderful musicians, man. You can't get no better.
Wow. So we're gonna talk about when you start. I mean, we were talking before this, and you saying you did a recording for Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I did a recording for Warner.
Warner Brother record. Now, how did that come about?
Well, my friends were a guy named Roger Trout.
Wow.
Yeah,
And who? For those who don't know, who's
Roger
Trout?
Trout is a R&B artist, and he is to me, and to everybody, he is a genius of this music. In fact, what you playing now, there's a lot of stuff that they sample from him, his style of playing. He's that great of a player.
What was the band that he was in?
It was Zap.
The Zap band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've been knowing him all my life.
Wow. He's from
Hamilton. So is we call him Leroy Bonham, but you call him Sugar. The guy that played with Ohio Players.
Okay.
In fact, the guy that started the Ohio Players, named Gregory Webster, he's from Hamilton.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So, like I said, you're around the music. And so our friendship with Larry was been everlasting with the Troutman family. They live right next door. Their grandmother did.
Really? Okay.
To me.
So as kids.
All my life.
Wow.
So they just got me in because one of Roger's first projects he ever did, he did for me.
Wow. And what was the name of that record?
Initial Thrust.
Initial Thrust.
Yeah.
Now, what's that about?
Initial Thrust.
This is not an interrogation.
This ain't no conversation. This is beginning to be an interrogation.
Oh man, what are some of the songs on that album? I was listening to that.
What happened with the song, with the record? We did a lot of what do you call them? Repeats. These other people's records.
Okay.
It was a version of Tobacco Road on there. Version of Long Winding Road. Sunny. On.
Did y'all do By the Time I Get to Phoenix?
By the Time I Get to Phoenix.
Yeah, yep.
And one called Stay With Me, Baby. And the other one is called, it was a reggae kind of tune. Man, you asked to call on my memory and it ain't
It's okay. But you had some wonderful musicians. I heard some Maceo Parker on that jump.
Well, that record was made digital when analog was hitting.
Okay, wow.
One of the first digital records to ever come out. So it sounded strange when you played it.
Right, it sounded
because
good.
it was before. Well, this is now.
Yeah. But back then it sounded. Okay.
Yeah, it was found different because it's a digital record. It's not an analog record.
Yeah.
It's made on a Neve, $200,000 what do you call it? Console.
Yeah. Wow.
And so, I mean it. What can I say about it? I don't know. I could say this much: Warner Brothers has brought it. They did something with it because it's on CD now.
Yeah, and it sounds beautiful, man. I was listening to it this morning, man. I said, man, it's funny because, I'm hearing you right now. I hear you singing the jazz, the standards, and all that. But right there, man, you was doing that soul thing. I was like, whoa.
Well, listen, man. The other thing is you got to realize I sang gospel for a long time.
Okay.
When I first came to town, I had a gospel group. We sung on shows with Richard Smallwood, Shirley Caesar. I done been to Madison Square Gardens.
Wow.
I done been there doing songs. So I done I told you, man, when I look back, and I used to sing with this woman named Lucille Banks Robinson Miller.
Wow.
I know all the people who was in the jazz community, in the gospel community back in the day. Mm-hmm. I did that for a few years.
Wow.
So I did a lot of stuff.
So what was DC like when you were coming,
When I first come to DC to me was a shocking town.
You said a shocking town?
Shocking for me.
Okay.
Because I ain't never seen this many black people
I had the same experience.
with sophisticated jobs.
Yeah.
And then it's very cliquey. It's a hard town to break into at that time. Everything was in the groups. They had a lot of cabaret, a lot of great music, all kinds of music. They had rover leader music programs. There were cabaret houses. People went to. There were social groups that had activities. All these kind of things were going on when I got to D.C.
Wow. And when did you break into the jazz scene?
Well,
or how'd you?
A guy named Bobby Mitchell was a Hall of Fame player. He was my friend. When I first got to D.C., he took me down to 7th Street, down in in the hood, and took me around. And the first people I heard playing was Mary Jefferson.
Wow.
Keita Best.
Wow.
I think it was John Malachi, and Mark Hill, which was Mary's, and Buck Hill.
Okay.
So I heard them play, and I said, boy, these guys is cut.
Yeah.
So they let me sit in, just like, sit in all.
Yeah.
Because I was a football player.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that gave me a little favor.
Gotcha.
Because it wasn't because you got talent and skill. Just because you play football.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on, baby.
Yeah.
Be like Mary said, come on, baby,
Yeah.
sing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So I was able to, because of those things, having those other relationships, made it easy for me to talk to different musicians. Because they would accept me into the personal relationship. And then that helps to build relationships.
Wow.
And I started building a lot of relationships with a lot of folks.
Oh wow, that's beautiful, man. So did you ever do what they call it the chicken circuit, the chitlin circuit?
Man, I did all these clubs. I did the Cellar Door. I did Blues Alley. I did the Saloon. I was at a place called Cafe La Track for like 5 years.
Yeah.
I did the Watergate Hotel for a long time with Ellsworth Gibson and all those people. Man, I done covered the ground.
Yes, sir. Oh man. So at some point, did you start focusing more exclusively in the jazz vernacular or the jazz vein, more so than the soul? And I know you still do the gospel thing, but you know what I'm saying? And you probably still sing the soul
Well,
too.
see, the thing is, I was a funeral home singer too.
You was a funeral home singer?
Yeah, I done sung for about at least 200 or 300
Wow.
funerals. And family funerals and stuff. So I use tracks on that. So sometimes I still use, and I had this friend called Kenny Holmes, was my buddy. He made tracks with Lincoln Ross. And I was working gigs by myself, just playing the music behind me.
Wow.
I did track dates.
Wow.
Yeah, I did a lot of that in different special parties for people.
Wow, man.
I've been having myself some fun.
Yes, sir. Were you influenced by any particular singer?
No, I told you, everybody, I don't see anybody who I don't think is great.
Okay.
I think, you can pick up from anybody.
Gotcha.
It's no one, so when I say it's one person, no. I may like a song, like in jazz, you do a lot of standards. So I might hear female style singing, the way she turns the song around and handles the song. You might like that.
Gotcha.
So you just pick up little things as you go along that you can apply to what you can do if you can make the notes.
Wow, gotcha. At some point, you became a jazz supporter, and I want to talk about your advocacy out whatever. Let's talk about Mr. Earl Banks. Who's Mr. Earl Banks?
Earl Banks was my friend, man. A group called Let Em Play was opened by the guy named Tony Taylor. Tony Taylor was a guy, a Washington, D.C. guy, who really loved the music, and he wanted to keep things going. What happened was him and Marion Barry was kind of close, and Marion Barry made him D.C. Commissioner of the Arts.
Okay.
And Tony wanted to, he knew that Buck Hill and people like, I'm looking at Shirley Horn, these people wasn't leaving town to play. They was D.C. bound folks, played in D.C. all the time. And he wanted to make sure he support them. So he had luncheons that he was doing. He did police at senior centers. He went into hospitals. He played in jails. He set up little concerts where they do. And then he had DuPont Park, where he did DuPont Park.
And what's this guy's name?
Tony Taylor.
Tony Taylor. Okay.
And he had a board. We were not the board. We were on the board of directors. We was not the board of directors. So don't get the two mixed up.
I got you.
We was on the board of directors.
But you got you.
But we're not
Okay.
the board of directors.
Okay.
He was the board
Got
of
you.
directors.
Yes.
So you have to, and he did all these things, and he really kind of, and Earl Banks was on that board with me and about our other guys. But Earl had been there longer than me. He knew way more than me. He was a D.C. guy. And so, and he had the same kind of drive that Tony had. He wanted to make sure that these guys was playing places. And so that whole thing was kind of spin off to me,
Yeah.
handed on. So I said, well, hell, this is what you do.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
I'm learning, you know. And so I started doing the same thing, trying to do stuff.
Yeah.
So
So
I
was-
worked with Earl.
Was Mr. Earl Banks a mentor in terms of jazz?
As far as I'm concerned, he was.
Uh-huh.
He was a great mentor because he wanted to, the whole idea was to get the places for the people to play and to move on. And they had a place called the Landsberg Building down on 7th Street. A lot of concerts and stuff down there. You know, that was to let them play. Then Roberta McLeod, you have to talk about
We're
her.
going to talk about the Dr. Martin Luther King celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the organization was called Let Em Play.
Let them play Incorporated.
Let Em Play Incorporated. Okay.
You got to remember that.
I think that's how I met you and Mr. Banks going through. You had an annual Dr. Martin Luther King celebration
Right.
at Blackburn Center on the campus of Howard University. How did that come about?
Well, that was through Mary Jefferson and because she worked up at Howard, and Roberta, man, did a lot,
Miss
man.
McLeod, yeah.
That woman,
Yes.
I'm trying to tell you, she
Yes.
did a lot to keep
Shout
things
out.
going. She took
Yeah.
her money, the money she had in different things, and made sure that we could do things, and
Wow.
we had the backing that they need.
Yeah.
So, you know, she's a great inspiration for that. You can't, when you start talking about inspirations, you got to broaden the scope.
Come on.
Because there's so many people that invest in what you're doing.
Yes.
You got to be appreciative of that. And you know you don't do it all by yourself.
Exactly.
Now, I've gotten so many awards, I almost shamed. I want to back up in there and get them. because in my mind, I know I was surrounded by a whole bunch of folks
Yeah.
who responsible for that.
Yeah.
And you put it on me. and I'm looking saying, damn. You know, I'm feeling a little guilty. Don't want to go out the door.
Yeah.
But you know you not alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know you're not alone. And then when you know that, you know, you say, well, man, I got to show some gratitude for the folks who really did something.
Yeah. Yeah. That annual celebration of on the campus of Howard, the Martin Luther King celebration, man, it brought people together. I mean, musicians from Howard, UDC, I mean, University, I mean, and the whole community would come out, and it was an all-day.
And that's the part that you're talking about that's important, the community component of it.
Come on.
Because a lot of these musicians didn't even know each other.
Exactly.
They met each other up there once a year.
Yes.
But they were able to come together in a way to develop those relationships. And that whole concept was passed on to the Westminster concept. Because we just like carrying the ball too.
Yeah.
But that's what is happening.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Because that's what it's a community. And I was blessed and fortunate to get put on in D.C. and know people through these type of programs. Let Them Play, man. So I'm very fortunate and thankful for you guys for doing that, man. You know, a lot of times we don't say that, but it was when you look back, you say, man, that you know, and you say, wow,
Yeah.
this is how I was getting my stuff together.
It's
you
no
know?
question. That's what
And,
brought you down that road.
Exactly. And it was what I liked about DC and its community. Man, it was so many characters in this. I mean, it's just so many. Jazz has so many different characters and personalities. And you know what?
You gotta stop. Don't joke. There's a learning curve that you gotta learn. You gotta learn how to deal with them.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna change them.
Exactly.
If you think you're gonna change them, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You're not gonna change nobody. So you say, no, can't change them.
Yeah.
How can I work this in to make this work?
Yeah.
Man, there's no question about
And
it.
which is a testament to what you do. We're gonna talk about your work at Westminster Church at Jazz Night because you are the musical. What we call you? The musical director, not the musical.
The coordinator.
Musical coordinator for that. Now, before we talk about that, Banks passed at a certain point, right?
Yeah.
And so when he died, did you take the mantle of Let Em Play?
Man, I hate to tell you this. I might as well tell you the truth. What happened was with Let Em Play Incorporated, we were on the board of directors. Banks and I was trying to do activity. Banks wanted to do all this stuff because he was a Tony Taylor-minded guy.
Yeah.
He would take on all these activities. He would get them straight. We did stuff up at Silver Springs, man. He did all kind of places. Okay, he was doing that. When at Howard University, they had a Sunday jazz series that they started because the musicians that were playing for free on that Martin Luther King Day wasn't getting paid. So Roberta McLeod said, well, listen, we could pay these guys. I'll take some money and do that. So she took a block of money, said, I want to pay these guys. All right, Banks and I couldn't take the money ourselves and pay them. We said we'd do it through that nonprofit organization, Let Em Play Incorporated. So Banks and I went downtown to try to get the paperwork straight so we could receive the money to pay the people. When we got down there, this is the American people. I don't even want to make it, but some people don't know the story, but this is sad, but it's true. Somebody, I don't want to mention no names, had taken me and Banks off of the board.
Wow.
But that's how people do. Remember this? That's how people do. People do things for a reason. They took us off the board, but God
Come on.
is powerful.
Yes, sir.
And the guy who was down there with the zoning board, he said, man, y'all just start your own organization. So we called it. So I said, Earl said, well, let's just call it Dick Smith and Earl Banks. I said, no, man, Earl, I respect him because he was, so we called it Earl Banks Let Em Play.
Wow.
We started and we put our charter in. I had to then I got some people to get on the board because you had to have the process. You got to go through. We went through the process right there, did that. Then we were able to get the money and start paying those people.
Wow. Beautiful. Yeah.
That's what happened.
Wow. That's wonderful, man.
But it's terrible because you're always going to run up against some opposition somewhere that you have to know what lane you in. Stay in your lane.
Come on.
And keep on driving.
Exactly.
And that's what we did. We said, well, that's okay. You doing what you do. Yeah. God bless you.
Yes, sir.
We in this lane over here, and this where we driving at.
And
we
so
drove on by 'em.
Yeah.
So that was what we did.
Okay. So how'd you make the connection? How'd you connect with the jazz night at Westminster? We used to call it.
At Westminster, you have to realize I was working a lot as a vocalist. I work in a lot of places. I worked with this lady named Lou Taylor, who was at that church. And Brian Hamilton had come out of Philadelphia, and he had a lot of experience in doing stuff. And he was a really great guy, because a lot of churches wasn't as open as he was. He was very open, him and his wife. Great people. And so they were looking for something. So they came, so it was really through me and Lou. But I didn't want to do nothing without my partner because, Banks was really the man with the heart that
Banks,
wanted to do it. He had his own style.
Yeah.
And he would do some stuff that I wouldn't do.
Yeah, I got
I
you.
didn't have the intestinal fortitude.
Did I say his characters in this music, right?
Yeah, his character.
Yeah.
He did what he did.
Yeah, no doubt.
And sometimes I disagree with him, but it always worked.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, well, I remember one time he took me, we was trying to get some stuff on radio. I said, Banks, we can't get on radio. He said, man, just take me up to Channel 5. I said, man, we can't do that. He said, come on, man, take me up. I took him up, he banged on the door. Man, I'm saying, oh, man, we gonna get arrested.
Yeah.
Because I had a hard, boom, next thing you know, we got it on radio. On television.
Wow.
So, man, he taught me something.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, man, all these things they say you can't do,
Yeah.
you could do.
Come on.
How you know you can't do it? Mm-hmm. So that's how, it ended up doing all the things that we started doing because I recognized, hey, this guy is right. You can't take defeat.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to keep fighting. So that's basically what happened with that.
Okay, who came up with the idea of jazz night? Jazz night is a Friday. It's the Friday.
Well, Banks came. I think Banks was saying Friday night because it's fish. Like the Friday night fish fry. He could fry some fish, man.
Banks.
He could fry that. He got some fish and some wings and all that kind of stuff. So he said, look, because before we came down to jazz night, we had been doing stuff outside in the parks and all this other kind of stuff. So he said Friday night jazz, and then he was talking about at that same time Monday night blues, but never got to it. He never got to it. Nap, they tried to get Nap to do it, but Nap died.
Yeah.
And then, but eventually Brian went on and pushed things through and
made it happen.
Made it happen. And he gave you the space and the things that he'd done down there.
Yeah. And how long? That's
21 years.
21 years, man. And I was around.
You was around there when they had the pews.
Yeah, with the beginning, man.
I got pictures of that.
Yeah, and man, how many? Just name some of the people the musicians that have been blessed to come through Westminster. We always say Westminster, but it's Westminster. Yeah. Westminster Church.
Man, there's so many people. See, you have to realize, like I say, we have a great amount of great players here. Billy Smith was coming through.
I remember Billy,
You had Buck Hill. You had Little Diz, Webster Young.
Yeah.
You had Earl Wilson. And then Earl Wilson started bringing in all these people from Baltimore, younger players and old players, because he was connected to the Baltimore. Then you had people like a lot of singers, man, all kinds of singers. We had people like, man, you got my mind. Jackie Harrison, I can't. You said you ain't never heard Jackie Harrison. You got to hear him. He's an organist. And then we had Bill Clark. I have to think about Bill Clark. Yeah. And then you had Calvin Jones.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, Calvin. Yeah.
So anybody you could think of.
Yeah, and
Jerry Gordon.
Yeah. Oh man, Jerry, my man. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Remember Jerry Gordon?
Yes, sir. I do.
So we got a whole list of people. Then they have services down there for all these different people. It's just. The place has been a.
And how much was it to get in? Like for and that it's
$5.
$5. That's the best.
But it's two things going on there. Musicians of the caliber that play down there or have played down there are great musicians. So it's a trade-off. Everybody, they doing something, they giving something. The people are showing up, and it's a community effort.
Yes.
And to pass on the music, to get the music respected, to build the kind of network you need to keep it alive.
let's talk about the audience. How important is the audience at Westminster Church, man? And I mean, it's like a family. Like I was saying, man.
Well, the thing about the Westminster audience that's different than any other audience
Come on.
is they got some people in there. We have people that are over 100 years old.
Wow.
And they're old and they heard all the great ones.
Yeah.
And it's a good sign for you to know how you doing.
Yeah.
Whether you playing or not.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they know whether you cutting it or not. And they
Yeah.
watch you as you grow.
Yes, sir.
You know, and keep you in line and keep you intact.
Yeah.
And it's a homey, it's a hospitable feeling.
Yeah.
Then we got all of these people who take pictures.
Yeah.
Like Lawrence and John Gleaves and Cheryl
And y'all have video footage
Man,
of
we
some
got-
of the. Oh man. So it's.
So man, it's just been a real true blessing.
Yeah.
We try to keep it going because it should be preserved. We should preserve our history, and we deal with only local guys.
Yeah.
We're not trying to do all over the world.
Yeah.
Jazz, because
Yeah.
we got enough people here not working.
Yeah. And we want to thank you for the love, man. Cause
Yeah.
And y'all pay good. The pay is, you know, it's
Well-
and sometimes it's in a nice time where you could do you can do the gig at Westminster and then you can run and do another gig.
Yeah, well, not only that, a lot of people see people at Westminster and they are able to hire 'em. A lot of guys get jobs from the contact.
Yeah.
And the community, when they have activities,
Yeah.
they can find out where to hire you, bring you in, give you a gig.
Yeah.
People come down there looking for folks. We done gave people some great gigs.
Yeah. And you got and I mean you have to have the job of getting all the what's that like, man? Making sure.
Man, we've been fortunate because we only had one time that somebody didn't show up. And it just happened to be enough people in the audience that I had a better band from the audience, the guys that showed up,
Oh wow.
than who was supposed to play. And they just played.
Wow.
So we've been very fortunate.
Yeah. Now, who came up with the song "I Love Friday"? My Friday Jazz.
Me?
Can you sing that for the people? How good?
We love Friday jazz. We love our Friday jazz. Do-do-do-do-do. We love our Friday jazz. We love that Friday jazz.
Come on now.
We love that Friday jazz. We love that Friday jazz.
Come on.
I said fried.
Yeah.
Fish on Friday.
Come on.
Fish and Friday jazz. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yes, sir. Bravo, bravo. Oh man,
Fried fish.
beautiful, man. So how you know we've been going through a pandemic. How has the church been dealing with that, and what are their plans? I know you can't tell me everything, but what are some plans things that you're working on?
Well, the church is, we got older people. So we can't take no chances to try to goof around to see what can happen, because you got to be very careful when you're dealing with that crowd we dealing with. But the church has had, since they've been closed down, they have gotten a new system in there, you know, that can do streaming
Okay.
to a level where it can be really good stuff. And then we've been looking at the space. Brian been checking out everything and see what can happen and when, and then maybe go outside. But we'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. But they have not dead. They want to make sure that the history that they have accumulated will stay, and we'll be able to build on it.
Great.
Now the church is in the process of reconstruction. So there's going to be a new facility.
Oh wow.
And new everything.
Cool.
And so all of that, and it's going to be still friendly to the programs that they got. And it's got great location. It's got all the great seeds that you need. And it's going to take care of our our present guys and the history.
So how is Brian and his wife Ruth? They have been very supportive of
Man,
jazz.
they've been supportive of this entire community.
Yes.
Man. You'd be
So they've been-
surprised at some of the things they do and have done.
Yeah.
And Brian is due for people. He don't think nothing about it. He's just a good guy.
Yeah.
And when you get people like that, it's not very many people left like that.
Yes. Yes.
But it's wonderful to have somebody who's got that in mind.
Yeah.
And so, and for the musicians, man, every time, and we help so many people out, they could tell you the stories.
Yeah.
Then when you want to have activity, I think you had activity down there yourself.
Yes, sir. My 50th birthday.
Yeah, and if you try to rent a place like that at that side for what you paid, you couldn't have done it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the space.
I ain't paid nothing.
Yeah.
It was my birthday.
Man, you be quiet. You talking too much. Hey, man, you can talk too much. This is film. Cut the tape.
Yeah, but that's beautiful, man. And we are as a community, man. We want to just say thank you for what y'all have done, man, for the community.
Hey,
we
listen,
appreciate
man, it's all done out of love.
Yes, sir. No
It's
doubt.
not. It's no other way it's being done out of love. It's done out of love. And you know something? We're all connected.
Yes, sir.
We're connected better than we ever been connected. I think that's why I think how University for. I think that Martin Luther King idea, which really kind of was Banks' idea in general, to do something for Dr. King. Dr. King wouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
He said Dr. King would have had it free. We'll take us some. Banks make you feel bad if you didn't want to give you time for that. Man, I ain't got time for that, man. Free and stand in line 45 hours and to wait to play. With God, Dr. King wouldn't have. He motivates you to do that.
One of a kind.
And that kind of spirit, if you keep that spirit going, it's going to make a difference.
Yes, it has.
It make a great difference.
Yeah. Wow. I have some final questions.
All right.
We almost winding down.
Thank you, Jesus.
I done kept you long enough.
Thank you. Way too long.
What has it been like being a husband and a father?
Man, being a husband and a father is a good thing. You keep trying. As long as it's an effort thing that you have to always be trying. Because you want to do the best you can. There's nothing I wouldn't do for my kids or my wife.
Gotcha.
There's nothing that you wouldn't, and you got to start thinking about trying to have the right kind of perspectives and the right kind of image that you're showing. You try to do that. You try to be respectful.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. And then the respect comes with the individual, because everybody got a different concept of what they think is respectful.
Yes, sir.
So you got to make sure you clear. Your lines of communications are clear.
Yeah.
I know I haven't been the greatest of anything. I ain't saying that. But I'm trying.
You got. That's right.
And you can't go back and undo what's already been done.
Gotcha. We get some wisdom up in
Yeah.
here. You've mentioned this, but when you look at your journey and when you've spoken this, your whole this experience. You also, I heard, didn't you work in the prisons as well?
Yeah, I worked in prison for 20-something years.
Wow. Man, you've had like 3 or 4.
Man, what make me fall down on my knees and cry is when a guy come to me and say, Dick, man, I just want to thank you for what you did for me.
Come on. Yeah. Beautiful.
Man, I done had so many of them, man. Guy stopped me in the street with called his wife and kids.
Wow.
He said, man, I want you to meet this man.
Wow.
I mean,
From working in the prison?
Yeah.
Wow.
Me working with guys. So to me, how you value something like that?
Yeah. You have a life of service.
That's all I want.
And and I was going to ask you this. Dr. King said he wanted to be remembered for this or that. What would you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for, say, look, man, the guy tried to do whatever he could to help somebody and to be a righteous guy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
But he tried.
He tried. That's right.
Yeah.
And you said you've gotten a lot of awards, but we got one for you too.
Oh, not another man! I don't want no more awards, man. Oh, hell no!
We got to give you We got
Man, no, man, don't give me nothing else, man. I ain't got that. I'm out,
Hey.
man. Oh, man.
we had look, man.
Dang.
I'm not gonna come on here.
You make me feel bad, man.
I want to make you feel good. This is
You know, that's
this is the Conversation in Jazz Channel Award,
man.
and presented for your service for jazz. And we get us to Brother Dick Smith, right there.
Mr. Antonio.
Yes, sir.
Parker.
Man, we want to thank you for your service and what you've done for the community.
Well,
You know, just a little small token of our appreciation.
man, listen,
know.
it's a big token to me.
I appreciate it. And we talk on the phone a lot, man. So man, this what you've done for me today is more than a blessing.
Well, man, hopefully that hopefully people can realize that as you follow these paths, look for stuff, make a contribution, be respectful, help everybody you can. You know, if you want to be a part of the music, just go somewhere and just support. It's just good to have support because we just you can't do everything because you don't have enough time.
Yes, sir.
You don't have that much time. Your time is sacred.
Yes.
So, give your time to some purpose rather than waste it.
Yes, sir.
So that's what you need to do.
So our last question. What's next? Well, we got two more questions. What's next for Dick Smith?
Well, what's next for me is, hey, I don't know. I'm just going to keep on working at it.
Yeah.
We know what's next.
Yeah. No, keep doing what you're doing. And how can people, if they want to learn about or contact you or learn about?
Well,
what
I'm
they
pretty much open. You can contact me. I got 2 Christmas CDs that I didn't sell.
Oh,
I
wow,
think
you
this
know-
year,
oh, okay.
I sold a long time ago. I got a DVD.
Okay.
I got a lot of stuff that I could, share with people. But I plan on, setting up a website
Okay.
at some point
Got you.
with all the stuff on it. But I'm not concerned about my personal website. I'm worried about a website for our community.
Got you.
Because it's not my own drive.
But they can find you on Facebook too, right?
Hopefully not. Yeah. They can find me on Facebook.
Yeah.
I got a lot of pictures and stuff. But hopefully if they stick with us, they'll be able to find us on the Jazz Night website.
Got you.
And they'll be able to find all the guys, information. And what I want to do, this is my hope. I have these clips of different things that we had down the church. I got pictures that I got from all of the photographers. And what I want to do is have a show. You'll sing like Arthur Godfrey and Ed Sullivan.
Ed Sullivan. Okay.
Yeah. Come on. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Today we're going to have Antonio Parker. Now we show some of the clips or either shots from what you've done.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for what you've done with all of these conversations.
Oh, appreciate it.
Because it keeps things alive and we could just let people know who they are and we could help build images for our musicians.
Yes, sir.
So it's all good. So we hoping that happens. So
Yeah.
hoping that down at church, I hope we can get back open, get back on target, start doing what we need to do for the community. And we still got young minds who are willing to get out there and work with us.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thanks. I want to thank you again.
Thank you.
And yes, and we're going to have our ears to the ground and see all the wonderful things you continue to do. So, with that, there it is, Mr.
Thank you very much, Antonio.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you.
Mr. Dick Smith. Oh, man, this has been beautiful. So, there it is. I mean, it don't get no better than that. So, this is a Conversation in Jazz, and we'll see you on the next one.